What's up guys, Vojtech here. In today's video I would like to react to this YouTube's Darkest Channels 7 by Nick Kroll. Pretty recent video, uploaded just 1 hour ago. In case you're wondering, yeah, this is indeed pre-recorded. It might be like a half a month or even a whole month pre-recorded. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool, right? It's like a time capsule, right? We are going to the future and to the past. Anyways, let's see the video. Sorry. Yep. Let's get it.
Tell you what we're going to do today more than anything else. We're going to do this. A nice guy must die. A nice guy must die.
Nice guy must
Nice guy
die.
must die.
Pretty weird, right? Oh.
This is my house from the street. Here is my car. This is a 2-bedroom brick ranch.
Oh, sorry about the lag.
It's the final day of February 2008.
I'm not
A
sure what
47-year-old
happened.
man living in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, named George Sedini, publishes his very first video
Oh,
to
it
YouTube
looks
under
like
the
an
channel
AI picture.
MOS B46
Probably it's
PGH.
like the resolution was upscaled, right?
$79,000 for this in 1996. That's considered a lot, believe it or not.
The upload, titled How George Pittsburgh Lives, was almost like an old-school house tour of sorts, as George proudly displays the outside of his home, before then doing the same inside.
Open it up. Oh, someone left it unlocked. That's not good. Inside, okay. Pan to the other side.
Seemingly making a point of mentioning every minute feature in the otherwise dim and empty home.
Here's my big screen TV. It's my computer, couch and chair, they match. Dining room set, shoebox full of old pictures.
To anyone who may have stumbled upon this strange video or Sedini's channel in general back in 2008, it would likely come off as entirely uninteresting and far from anything disturbing. However, to those who find it today, this couldn't be more different, as the account carries with it a layer of disturbing context due to the events that transpired after this first video was published. Events that have since transformed the MOS B46 PGH page into one of YouTube's darkest channels.
Is that like a cipher?
Do something so she remembers your name.
Keep your mate with you. Make sure he's someone you can trust. Just be careful. It's all I can say.
I'm gonna post this and see what comes back.
Oh, I don't know these old cartoons or
And honestly, there's something about it that's been
however you call it.
You or I could do a simple Google search and in a matter of seconds find countless different data broker websites where you can buy pretty much anyone's personal data for just a few bucks. And not only can anyone do that, but
how?
it's also perfectly legal. If you watch
Come on now, Nick. How is your ad related to the TikTok trend? I know, now there is a trend on the internet on TikTok where you should take like bunch of pills, like I don't know how it's called in English, but it's like the fever pill, to cure fever, and you are supposed to take like, I don't know, 5 of them, and that's the challenge. But how is this related, my man? Did I hear it right? I must replay.
I'm sure most of you guys have heard about the TikTok ban at this point. And honestly, there's something about it that's been bothering me.
Oh,
you or I could do a simple Google search and in a matter of seconds find...
Why did I hear the TikTok trend instead of TikTok ban? So, sorry guys, but hey, now you know something new, right? Let me know in the comments if you knew, if you knew the trend. Let me know if you knew.
And that's why I use Aura, today's sponsor.
Yes, surely. Thank you.
Little hallway, 2 bedrooms. 2 bedrooms. To the right is my bedroom.
Without any context, it's hard to know what the purpose of George Sidini's first video was, if it even had one at all. The entire thing just felt so random. But within the footage itself was one clue that hints at the fact that George actually had a very specific reason for uploading this, with that clue coming in the form of a book on his coffee table.
Okay, come over here. There's some reading
Show me the
material that
book.
we're all familiar with.
It was
What?
called How to Date Young Women for Men Over 35,
I
which was
thought
about as
office
creepy as it
politics.
sounded.
My first guest today is a 51-year-old
Oh, hell
bachelor
no,
who
not
says if
this.
you're a single woman over 30, you're a dating
Oh.
has-been. Please meet every woman's
No.
dream.
By the way,
Steele.
I recently attended speed dating,
Its author,
and it was pretty cool. You know, I wasn't there really to meet like a partner, lifetime partner, but I was there to just to take photos and videos because I was like an extra. You know, they were shooting like videos with us, you know, and all that stuff. I met few people, but only one girl decided to match with me, you know, as they say. I was pretty shocked because one girl matched with me. That's fine, but there was also another girl that was saying stuff like, yeah, we will exchange, you know, information because we were like work related. You know, she said she was a redactor. Do you have that? Do you know what I mean? Like the news people, you know, there's a celebrity and you ask her, hello Johnny, how was your trip today? Like that, you know. So she's that, and you know, I ask her, hey, can you give me um sources where to get you know, these jobs? And she said sure, and I told her yeah, and I'll send you some too. And you know, we agreed, you know, and then nothing. What the hell? I don't know what's up with it. Hey, I mean, I can understand a little bit, you know, some people won't tell it to your face, but it's weird, not gonna lie. I mean, she was like, yeah, we will, you know, text each other, you know, send the information, and then she doesn't match with me. I match with all of them, you know, I said yes to all of them, just because I didn't want anyone, you know, to, in case they match with me, I wanted them to match. You know what I mean? So it's just rambling here, whatever. But yeah, this show
Steele
crazy.
made a living as a dating counselor and life coach, creating various books and programs that were geared towards socially awkward men, exploiting them with the promise that someday they'll be able to get the younger girl of their dreams, even after they reached middle adulthood, and all that they had to do was pay for his course, pay for the book, and dedicate themselves to becoming more desirable. And George Sidini was the perfect target.
Not bad.
Despite having a successful career as a systems analyst at a law firm, he struggled to maintain any relationships with the women that he met. It had been well over a decade since he last had a girlfriend.
Hey guys, I know, you know, I'm like 23, you know, and when I'm speaking to, let's say, 17 or 18-year-olds, people look at me funny. But the thing is that once you make it as a man, you know, you got a good physique, money is good, you know, you are well off, and you are somewhat, you know, good looking, you can pull the girls, and the age doesn't really matter. I mean, it's you know, scary to say that, right? But look, for example, at Brad Pitt. You know, how old is he? Is he 50 or even 60? I don't know, but he's somewhere around that, and he always has a like 20-year-old girlfriend, and once she turns how old? I forgot. Like 25 maybe, then she ditches her, you know, throws her in the bin and gets another 20-year-old. I mean, the guy can afford it. To me it's weird, but it's possible, and I guess many people would say love is love. But you know, see, it's because he's wealthy, and good looking. But if it was my case, let's say I'm 23, and I want to meet with this 17-year-old, some people think it's weird. By the way, in my country, it's legal since 15, right? Just to make it clear. So, yeah. I mean, you, as the guy here said, you should dedicate yourself to be the best version of yourself.
And despite
Just
desperately
a little
wanting one,
motivation.
George just seemed to lack the ability to connect with women on any level, even as just friends. And as his isolation began to grow, so too
That's
did
bad.
his obsession with finding a girlfriend. George had nearly given up these pursuits too, until he was introduced to Don Steele's course, viewing the program as his last real shot at human connection, obsessively reading the book to the point that he was supposedly able to recite passages by memory alone. On top
Wow.
of this, he would also attend many of the
He must
supposed
be
gurus'
smart,
in-person
though.
seminars, with some of his visits even being captured on camera and later posted onto Don Steele's YouTube channel.
Oh, I see him.
It used to be down here. It was called a codpiece, and it's gradually over the years moved up here. So it's read like an erect you-know-what.
And it was in these courses where George was subjected to all sorts of bizarre and unsettling ideology.
Turn around here and look at me, and I'm
What?
going to tell you what we're going to do today more than anything else. We're going to do this. Nice guy must die.
But despite agreeing with this man
Ah.
wholeheartedly and following all of his
I
work,
mean,
George
I
was still
think
making
I
very little
understand the
progress,
message,
which was evident
but
by the footage of him attending these seminars,
we
as he
will
appears incredibly
see.
nervous and kept mainly to himself. And so,
We must see
recognizing
more.
that George had much to improve on, he was given an assignment by one of his instructors. He was told to film a video of his house, so that the instructors and everyone else in the class could see if he was really making himself and his environment desirable enough to any woman who might come over.
Okay.
Okay, couch and chair, they match. The woman will really be impressed.
Knowing this, the footage feels so much lonelier, as it was almost like he was trying to sell his way of living as being good
True.
enough for a partner that he was
True.
really no closer to
Isn't
finding.
will they rob
Something
them?
so depressing
Rob
about
him,
it.
sorry.
And this wasn't his only video.
Will there be a robbery?
It is easy for me to hide from my emotions for one more day. Take a long drive in the car, listen to some music, daydream, or just do some mundane task around the house that really doesn't need to be done, that's not too important. And there you go, one more day. And one more day turns into one more year.
Months later, on
How
June
old-
23rd,
how old is he?
2008, George would return with an upload he had filmed inside of his basement. And in it, we get more insight on just how severe his isolation had become, though he still held on to a sliver of optimism thanks to Don Steele's course.
Now, RDS says that I have approximately maybe 15 more years to be successful at this. And when I heard that, I wanted to continue immediately to start moving on this. I didn't realize I had that much time. So what my objective is to be real and to learn to be emotional and to be able to emotionally connect with people.
Before he eventually reverts back to talking about his uncanny desire to find a younger woman.
Because when I'm 10 to 20 years older than she is, she has to feel good about this thing.
Ending the video with hints of an uncertain future.
Oh, I
I'm gonna post
completely
this and see
forgot.
what comes back.
He chases the younger girls. Why
He would
not
never
his
upload
age
again.
though?
And soon
Why
after,
not
it
similar
appears George
age?
gave up trying, essentially accepting his life of loneliness. But while this would be the
Hey,
last
I'm
video made
lonely
to his
too,
channel,
right
he
now.
wouldn't leave the internet entirely. Soon after this final video was posted, a website was launched called GeorgeSedini.com, which served as a place for George to blog about his emotions. And while something like this could have been beneficial for him, this website would instead only serve to capture his descent into madness. An immediate red flag was raised by the very first text you see on the website, as George wrote, "Why do this? To young girls? Just read below. I kept a running log that includes my thoughts and actions after I saw this project was going to drag on," with the line serving as some sort of bizarre disclaimer, though with no other context. George's entries began. December 22nd, 2008. Time is moving along.
Oh,
Glad to
it's
have this
so-
done already. I will just keep a running log here
It's
as time
28?
passes. Many of the young girls here look
That's
so
so
beautiful as to not
old.
be human. Very edible. After joining this gym,
What?
started lifting weights and like it. This
Many
early post encapsulates what
very
this vlog would be
edible
focused on.
women?
Young women he would see throughout the day, his time at the gym, and his plan. This plan was never expressly stated on the
edible.
website, but it was
Sounds
something he obsessed over,
pretty
mentioning it in
weird.
every single one of his posts, and dubbing it the exit plan, even going as far as to
no.
provide a date and time for it, January 6th, 2009, at 8:15 p.m. Before this day would come, however, he would provide further insight into just how lonely he was. Moving into Christmas again, last Christmas with Pam was in 1983. Who knows why? I'm not ugly or too weird. No sex since January 1990 either. I was 29. No shit. Over 18 years
29.
ago. I actually look good. I dress good. I'm clean shaven, bathed, touch of cologne. Yet 30 million women reject me. Over an 18 or 25 year period. That's how I see it. 30 million is my rough guesstimate of how many desirable single women there are. With several other posts of the same nature,
But he goes
the day eventually
for
came for his
the
big
young
exit plan,
ones. So.
January 6th, with George writing one message that afternoon. I can do this. This log is not detailed. It is only for confidence to do this. The future holds even less than what I have today. It is 6:40 p.m., about an hour and a half to go. God have mercy. I wish life could have been better for all, and the crazy world can somehow run smoother. I wish I had answers. Bye. Despite this appearing to be his final post, George Sedini wasn't quite finished, as he would come back only hours later, writing simply, It's 8:45 p.m. I chickened out. Shit. I brought the loaded guns, everything. Whatever George Sedini had been planning that day, it was clear that his exit plan was something incredibly disturbing.
Hell no.
Based on his use of
Did
guns,
no one
plural,
see that though?
it was likely not just an exit plan for himself.
Honestly, you know, it's
But
28.
he didn't go through with it. In fact, he...
Okay. 28, you know, that's the times were different, you know, the websites, they were a little not so great looking, so I guess the blog wasn't that bad, right? But it was probably unknown since nobody told. You know, usually I heard these stories and people just call police, you know. I mean, I don't know what I would do, honestly, seeing this random post on the internet. Would you guys call the police if you saw a guy telling you, like, yeah, I'm going to do it, and then he said, I brought the loaded guns, but no, I wasn't feeling it. What would you do? I don't know, because I'm a little scared of calling the police, because I don't want to be that guy like that called the police and pretty much nothing came from it, right? You get me? So, I don't know. Let me know. Alright.
seemed to have dropped the plan entirely, as months would go by without any update to his blog. Though this wouldn't last, as in April of 2009, he began posting yet again, with these entries being even more disturbing. July 23rd, 2009. Wow, I just looked out my front window and saw a beautiful college-age girl leave Bob's house, across the street. I guess he got a good lay today. College girls are hoes. I masturbate frequently. He is about 45 years old.
I masturbate
hot little hottie with a beautiful bod. I masturbate frequently.
Again,
the strangest part of this entire website was, according to those he worked with and
this
the neighbors,
guy,
they all thought George was
this guy was gooning,
off, sure, but it appeared that these
before it
disturbing
was
thoughts
popular.
and plans were kept solely in his blog and solely in his mind. But on July 28th, 2009, this would all change. George had boarded a Port Authority bus that day and took a seat, carrying with him some sort of duffel bag. And as the ride commenced, he unzipped the bag and began to fiddle with something inside of it. An anonymous man sitting next to him noticed this and curiously leaned over to see what he was doing. In George Sedini's hand was what appeared to be a grenade. The stunned passenger ran off at the next stop and immediately alerted the police. But bizarrely, nothing actually came of this. No explosions happened that day. And upon police eventually tracking down Sedini 2 days later, he was searched, but there was no sign of this supposed grenade, and the man who had reported this incident was unable to positively identify him. And so, George was released, allowing him to continue on with his day, and to continue on with his posting. August 3rd, 2009. I took off today, Monday, and tomorrow to practice my routine and make sure it was well polished. I need to work out every detail. There is only one shot. Also, I need to be completely immersed into something before I can be successful. I haven't had a drink since Friday at about 2:30. Total effort needed. Tomorrow is the big day. Last time I tried this in January, I
Tomorrow is the...
Let's see how this new approach works.
Oh
Maybe
no.
soon I will see God and
bro,
Jesus.
the blog must
This
be
was
so
the final
unknown.
update made to GeorgeSedini.com, and unlike his previous attempt at carrying out this exit plan, this time he did GeorgeSedini.com.
Wait, date
and
of
unlike
death?
his previous attempt at
Do you
carrying out
guys
this
see
exit
that?
plan, this date made to George Sedini.
He was 49, right? 49 or 50, doesn't matter. Yeah, rather 50, right? But never married, Pittsburgh. I don't know what this is, 5 to 10. What's that? Ah, age 48. I see it. 155. I don't know why you have this information here, but man, he felt in his state of death. Well, let's see what happens.
And unlike his previous attempt at carrying out this exit plan, this time he didn't back out. On August 4th, 2009, George Sedini would enter an LA Fitness in Bridgeville, Pennsylvania, and walk directly into a woman's aerobics class with a duffel bag in his hand. He then dropped his bag on the floor with a loud bang before he closed the door and shut off all the lights. In a moment of darkness and confusion, one witness recalled that she felt the presence of someone who didn't belong there. Before total panic would ensue, everyone was just screaming so loud, at first I didn't even think shots were being fired. It was so surreal. At that moment, George Sedini had brandished 2 guns from his bag and opened fire on the group of 30, all of whom were women, which was entirely the point. In that dark, cramped room, George would discharge his weapon 52 times, striking 12 different women.
Honestly,
himself.
You know what's really bad?
49-year-old Elizabeth Gann.
I mean, hey, I know, the times can be bad, but honestly, as a man, you should rather focus on yourself, improve. I mean, the guy was doing fine, I guess. The house looked alright, he owned it. That's a big thing. He had a car. I mean, the mustache looked a little creepy, but he got rid of it, right? I don't know about his physique, and the money situation, but you should try to improve, and eventually you would find someone for you. And let's not forget, if he went for his own age group, he would, get to know someone. Just because he was looking for the younger ones, it's harder, obviously. But hey, since, the younger, you could say they are more premiums in some way, But yeah, this is very bad, and the guy is apparently dead, as I understand it. You know what would be really funny? If he saw the situation today. Because today, the situation, I believe, is even harder for men, So imagine that right now, the houses are much, much more expensive. Not everyone can afford a house, as right now, but in the 2000s, pretty much all people could, pretty much. And it's there are these social media, and women post a picture, men write something like, "Beautiful, I would really like to know you," and it boosts their ego. Back in the days, they didn't really have that, 2008. So man, I mean, I hope. Sorry, that's really bad to say, but I hope he isn't alive anymore, because if he saw the situation today, he would get a heart attack, man. So let's see it.
38-year-old Jody Billingsley and 46-year-old Heidi Overmeyer would tragically lose their lives, while the others were left with permanent injuries, both physical and mental.
That's bad. So, but only 3 people.
It wasn't hard to find a motive.
How do you
George
kill only 3 people, man? Come
he desired
on now.
women so much that his inability to ever gain
He
a real
didn't
connection
even
with any
practice
of them
the shooting,
turned his infatuation into pure hatred. And this is how he wanted to make them pay. And the ironic part is that this was all so avoidable, as these plans were heavily implied on his website, which had been publicly available online for roughly an entire year, yet no one cared enough about him to ever look.
It is easy for me to hide from my emotions for one more day.
Knowing what we know now, George's channel is highly disturbing, as it shows us a glimpse into a mind on the verge of completely snapping, and a last attempt at achieving normalcy by a person who would go on to become a monster when he didn't get what he wanted.
Think about it now. The website might be just, inside he might be actually like a good guy, right? So he created the website in hopes that someone will call the police to prevent the stuff he's going to do. You know, he was losing himself in the mind, but he created a website so people know they can call the police, prevent this, but they didn't, sadly. Or he's just psycho and wanted, to get the fame, I don't know. Let me know down in the comments what you think is the case, alright? Let's continue with the video.
Well, that about sums it up.
Hi guys, I am with Lewis,
Nice house, by the way.
having a little drink.
Who's that?
Mark
Oh.
Williams always dreamed of being a YouTuber. He had grown up watching parkour content on the site, becoming attached to both its many talented creators and the hobby itself, eventually becoming so inspired by it that he launched his own channel in 2019.
I
at the
think
age
I
of
saw
just
the video.
15, with Mark hoping that someday
parkour
this
one.
channel would make that dream of his come true. The page went by many names over the years, but eventually Mark would settle on the moniker Displace. And depending on who you ask, his videos were either extremely impressive or extremely irresponsible. They showed scenes of Mark high atop buildings, jumping rooftop to rooftop, climbing on massive abandoned cranes.
Yeah,
fleeing
I
from
can see
security
what
guards
will
and cops
happen.
on more than a few occasions.
Police are on the way already now.
Oh,
Yeah, they'll catch me then, won't they?
I saw that! I
Often
saw
seen
the
with him
video!
was his younger brother, who he had grown incredibly close
But did
with,
I see
which was
it,
due in
though?
part to the fact that Mark
But
was
I know
somewhat
the
of a
video.
loner and didn't have many friends in his own personal life. Though according to his mother, this wasn't necessarily by choice, as she explained that he did desperately want friendship, and he was incredibly caring, he just had a habit of making the wrong friends.
But hey,
describing Mark as
YouTube
trusting
isn't
to
bad
a fault.
choice in case you want
Mark's
friends. I
longing
mean,
for camaraderie
you
became
would
especially apparent not
get,
long
like,
after the launch of
fans,
Displace, as
which
his brother
could be-
slowly began appearing less and less
some
in
of
his
them could be your
videos,
friends
forcing him to do
eventually.
these free runs by himself, which he implied was something he didn't enjoy nearly as much.
My brother, who was part of the channel, Ben, he's not now. I don't think he's coming back at all. He ditched me, leaving me by myself, and I've got a problem with talking to myself as well.
This, coupled
Huh?
with the fact that he was dealing with
What?
the tribulations of growing up, led to his uploads on the channel becoming
Tribulations?
more and more sporadic, as he would often go dark for a few months, only to return with the promise of more consistent uploads.
Alright guys, don't know if you can see me or not, but I promise you this place is coming back.
That often never came. It was clear that he still longed to be a YouTuber, he just needed some sort of a spark. And sure enough, at the end of 2020, he would find one right in his own comment section.
Oh man,
In
the
a since
trash bin
deleted video,
stinks.
Mark would receive a comment from a man named Lewis Ashdown, who explained that he was a big fan of Mark's content and that he would love to join him in an upcoming video,
That's
as they both
nice.
just so happened to live in Uckfield. It was exactly what Mark had been needing, a friend. And not only a friend, but a friend he could make videos with. And so that's exactly what he would do.
Oh, that's
Guys,
cute
I'm back here
though.
with Lewis, and we're going to do the water treatment facility in Uckfield on the industrial estate. See you in a sec, guys.
From their first meeting on, Lewis became a core part of the Displaced channel, leading to the two growing closer by the day, with Mark speaking about this bond on a live stream in March of 2021.
If you're going exploring at an abandoned pub, yeah, keep your mate with you. Make sure he's someone you can trust, and be careful is all I can say. Because in the video where me and Lewis climbed the college, I was constantly looking out for him because he did get dangerously close to some of the edges, but that's what life's about, isn't it?
But despite finding his new parkour partner, Mark still had other issues getting in the way of his uploads, as he was now 18 years old, and was facing the reality of having to get a job, forcing him to put his channel on the back burner.
Sorry.
Mark discussed this struggle
Yeah,
and many others he was facing at the time in that
but
same March livestream, with his
I
tone
must
about Displace's
admit-
future sounding less than optimistic.
It's
been
true. It's true that it's very hard to have a job and then also do like YouTube streaming or whatever. Right now I'm unemployed, right? So it's good. I stream from time to time. I record these reaction videos actually in 4 languages. You probably didn't even know, right? But yeah, I do, and then I do like little other side hustles, you could say. But actually, in a week, I'm getting my, you could say, second job, second job in my lifetime, you could say. Not really, they are like the half-time jobs, the the short ones, the gigs, but I don't count that. I'm getting my second job in a fast food restaurant, and they want me to work 30 hours a week, which is not bad, 30 hours a week, but it's still 30 hours a week. So I would have to sleep less, which could be a problem, or I will just have to, as the guy said in the video, put something a little behind, on the back burner. Not completely abandon it. That's not a problem. That's not really necessary. But still, he got a point. But it sounds funny. Not gonna lie. That's why I laughed. But it's true.
Talking with Lewis, seeming like he wants to get back into climbing and stuff. I haven't actually done it since Christmas, and I've got a bad back. It's been getting worse and worse lately. Don't know why. I need to go to the hospital and have myself checked out. I am not sure where my channel is going to go. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing these videos. I don't know if I'm going to be doing different videos, or whether I'm going to stop completely.
But unlike other times when he had gotten down on his channel, this time he wasn't alone, and his friend Lewis was there to have his back, as he pushed Mark to continue his work, even showing up in the comments of this livestream under the name Moral Unknown, where he went as far as to offer up a potential location that they could film their next video in order to get Mark re-inspired.
Oh, there are actually people to see how far that is.
Just days later, the
he's
two would
probably
arrive at Buxton
scrolling,
Hotel
right?
to begin filming yet another video.
Hi
That's
guys,
pretty cool,
I
though.
am with Lewis, having a little drink.
This would be their last on the Displaced channel, as
Sorry.
not even 2 months after it was uploaded, both Mark Williams and Lewis Ashdown would vanish without a trace.
Vanish?
It was the waning hours of Saturday, May 29th, 2021. Mark met Lewis at the Maresfield Recreation Ground to have a few drinks and discuss their next potential video. Though once there, it was the drinks that took priority, and very quickly Mark had become intoxicated, leading to him calling his house to tell his aunt, who he had been living with, that he would be heading back now. On the call, his aunt could tell that he was drunk,
And then
but
he
Lewis
goes
chimed in to assure her
parkouring,
not to
right?
worry, telling her, "I'll get him home safe," which made his aunt feel slightly better.
Get him
After all, it was
home
only a short
safe.
few-minute walk back to the house anyway. Instead, 12 hours would pass, and Mark still hadn't made it back, while Lewis himself also failed to arrive home. At some point during their short walk back, both boys had disappeared. They were reported as missing the very next morning, and the area they were last in was combed thoroughly, though very little was uncovered. Around them had been large pockets of forest and murky bodies of water, leading to some questioning if perhaps the boys had gotten lost, or even had fallen into the water. Though regardless of the theories, as a full 24 hours passed, many began to fear the worst, until something strange happened. Reports began pouring in from witnesses claiming to have seen Lewis. Some thought they saw him leaving a local pub the morning after he supposedly had gone missing, while others had seen him at a local movie theater, seemingly completely unaware that the whole town was looking for him.
Huh.
These sightings
Alright.
introduced the possibility that the boys were perhaps runaways, causing several pleas to be made throughout the press, begging them to come back home. But it would be the police who would find Lewis first, tracking him down at his friend named Liam Hansen's house. There, the cops fired off a barrage of questions, as they not only tried to get answers as to where the boys had been, but more importantly now, they needed to know where Mark was. Throughout all the sightings, it was only ever Lewis that had been spotted, and even now, after searching this friend's home, Mark wasn't there either. So where had Mark Williams gone? Well, Lewis himself offered very little, outright refusing to speak on the boys' whereabouts, but his friend Liam wasn't so quiet, as when he was questioned separately, he claimed to know exactly what had happened on the night of May 29th, 2021, the day in which both boys had disappeared. And he knew because Lewis had told him. According to the boy, the night that Lewis and Mark had met at the park, Lewis poured a cocktail for his friend, and then another, each one stronger than the last, causing Mark to become drunk almost immediately.
How much can you
Realizing
take,
he was
though?
drinking too
Yeah,
much,
I can
Mark told Lewis that
imagine.
he had enough. But Lewis persisted, outright demanding that he keep drinking, leading to Mark begging Lewis to let him stop. At one point, Mark's pleas finally caused Lewis to back off, as the boy instead agreed to make him a non-alcoholic drink, only for him to fill the cup with even more liquor when Mark wasn't looking. By 11:30, Mark could barely stand, prompting him to make that phone call to his aunt, letting her know that he would be back soon.
Come on
Meanwhile,
now.
Lewis had been so preoccupied with getting his friend drunk that he was still fairly sober at this point, and in his sober state, he promised Mark's aunt that he would get him home safe. Seconds after that phone call ended, Mark hunched over to vomit, which is precisely when Lewis pulled a large kitchen knife from his pocket and plunged it directly into Mark's back. Mark stumbled and asked Lewis to call him an ambulance, and unable to comprehend what had just happened.
Guys,
To which Lewis responded by laughing, before doing it again, and again, and again. This is what
Man,
Lewis had told Liam in the days after the alleged attack, but as
man, I'm sorry, but I feel so bad for the guy. The guy was lonely. He created a YouTube channel, recorded videos, got 3,000 subs, wanted a friend. Guys, why did he do it? I hope we find out, but I think he's just psycho. I mean,
Liam recounted the story to the
that's
police,
so sad.
he made it clear that this wasn't just a tall tale, as he
Oh,
had
man.
actually seen it for himself. When Lewis had told him the story, he pulled out his phone and put it up to Liam's face, revealing that he had filmed the entire ordeal. And sure enough, when police searched Lewis's devices, they would find that footage, though it was far worse than they ever could have imagined.
Oh, not a smart
On Lewis
guy, by
Ashdown's
the
cell
way.
phone were 7 total videos depicting the attack, with the footage spanning nearly an hour in total, during which
What?
Mark had been
Hour?
stabbed 107 times, on top of
Oh.
having a number of other sadistic
my
things
God.
done to him.
He was stabbing him
And all the
as
while,
he
it was
was.
said that Lewis was giggling manically. When asked about what he had seen in those recordings, Liam provided further detail on just how awful the attack was, recounting that he ripped Mark's eyes out. Proper psychotic stuff. I was going into shock. I was shocked
man.
how he came out with it. I wanted to run and tell someone.
Oh man.
This
I
was
can't
clearly
believe
not
it.
a normal crime. It displayed a level of evil and hatred that goes past human comprehension. And
Poor
David's
Mark,
brutality,
honestly,
police assumed
guys.
that surely something must have happened between these two to breed so much hatred inside of Lewis. But according to Lewis, this wasn't actually the case. Instead, he stated that he had simply found Mark to be annoying, and that he had been wanting to kill him for some time because of this, and had just been waiting for the right moment. Plus, he always wanted to know what it was like to kill someone.
Oh man, so it was,
And that was it.
just
That
fake
was his
friends.
entire motive.
Oh man.
Lewis Ashdown would be arrested the day he was found and later sentenced to life in prison, with parole eligibility in 25 years, while Mark's body was found dumped in a nearby body of water, and eventually given a proper burial.
Hi guys, I'm back here with Lewis, and we're going to do the water treatment facility.
With this context,
Oh.
Mark's channel is utterly devastating.
What
All
a
he wanted was a
treatment.
friend to film videos with. But sure enough, as his mother had warned, he was trusting to a fault.
If you're going exploring at an abandoned pub, yeah, keep your mate with you. Make sure he's someone you can trust.
I don't know.
You know, and
The
be
guy
careful.
is normal.
Which brings us
me.
to a
This
disturbing
guy.
revelation.
I don't know what's
Just
up
months
with the
before he would kill
Lewis
Mark,
guy.
Lewis was the one that encouraged
saying
him
that
to get
he's
back out there
annoying.
and film with him. And based on his testimony that he had been wanting to kill Mark for a long time, it makes it very clear that he was doing this not to be a good friend, but to
Yeah.
get Mark alone in an isolated spot so
Yep.
that he could carry out his plan. And adding more weight to this theory, when they visited the Buxted Hotel, which Lewis himself had suggested during the live stream, Mark was uncharacteristically drunk.
Hi guys, I am with Lewis. Just having a little drink. Okay, so we'll smash this after we smash these.
Which
Poor
was never
guy,
really
man.
part of his channel before that upload. And Lewis was uncharacteristically nervous.
We're going to do a couple more.
By the way,
bangs. Can't
Lewis,
see what they are in case-
Not very smart guy, honestly. I mean, I'm not
Anyone
sure
watching
if
that shouldn't be
he
watching.
was hoping that nobody will find out, or he's just
Well, no, I mean
slow.
watching the video.
But- Or maybe he wanted
I
to
know
visit
that
a
the police do
person.
watch my
I mean,
channel sometimes.
he always wondered
Paranoid even,
how it
being
feels
caught
to
by the
kill
cops,
someone. So
despite being totally unfazed in previous videos, where in some he was literally being chased by security guards.
this is so
And
bad.
coincidentally, by the end of this video, we get an indication as to why Lewis was so nervous. Because he had been
Knife.
carrying a knife. All this leads me to believe that that night, Lewis pushed Mark to film a video in an abandoned location, then got him drunk, and was going to carry through with the murder, before eventually backing out for unknown reasons. And all the while, Mark was completely unaware, never
Yeah,
once suspecting that the man he had been
That's-
filming with had secretly been plotting
that's
to kill
sad,
him,
man.
and one day would actually go through with it.
Oh
I'll
man.
wrap it up now then, guys. Yeah, I'll see ya.
I think I'm going to try and stay on this side and go across. Well, this should be quite amusing. Enjoy!
Joshua Brown started his YouTube channel back in 2010, a time when many individuals, including himself, used the site to upload random videos offering momentary glimpses into their lives. Joshua was in his mid-30s at the time and had recently finished serving in the Navy, before eventually settling down in Canton, Ohio, where he focused on his many passions. He loved driving, he loved technology, and he loved a little bit of danger. And soon, he became infatuated with a product that was essentially the sum of all three. For Joshua, these electric vehicles were a technological marvel and the future of the automotive industry, and he dreamed of one day having one, with that dream eventually coming true in 2015 when he would purchase his very own Tesla Model S that would eventually become his life and his YouTube channel's primary focus. He began uploading videos of his new car immediately, but rather than these focusing on the vehicle itself, it was its most controversial feature that interested him the most: autopilot. The feature had become available for Tesla drivers in October of 2015,
what's wrong with
which is
it?
exactly when Joshua purchased his car and began uploading these videos,
It's
showcasing its possibilities.
He will probably do naughty stuff beyond the wheel, right? Not naughty like
At least now you don't have to worry
for adults, but he will probably
He wanted to essentially
sleep
be a pioneer, providing an
and all that
overview
stuff,
of what
right?
self-driving was really all about, breaking down the specifics and showcasing a variety of unique situations that you might find yourself in if you were to use this driving mode yourself.
This section in here is going to be very, very difficult for the car to handle.
Because of the
filming this
lighting?
just so that you can see scenarios where the car does not do well, so that you've got something to judge off of it when you're driving on your own.
And he
But
tried
hey,
to make a point of doing
that's
so
pretty
safely,
cool
as he never
content to
used
me
the
so
camera
far.
behind the wheel, and always had someone helping him to avoid any accidents.
Yeah, that's-
But despite his focus on safety, it was clear that he was pushing the capabilities of this brand new
Yeah,
technology,
that's
as at this
true.
point it was still in its infancy. With
But
one
you
of the
know,
more glaring red
he
flags being
he
the
wanted to
placement
be
of
the
his hands.
first one, or at least one of the first. When it comes to new stuff, always the first people that spoke about it, recorded it, they will be credited, for the work. In most cases, he wanted to be popular, regarding this Tesla autopilot.
71 and
I understand.
geez, car's doing it all itself.
When Joshua was shown driving, he hardly ever had his hands on the wheel, as he said he wanted to get the true experience of self-driving. This was something that Tesla had actually adamantly advised against, and even had visual and audible warnings
I
if
mean,
he detected that your hands were off the steering
but
wheel.
he
Joshua
was
seemed to find
like
a
this,
workaround, as he instead used
Look
his
at
legs
it.
to avoid tripping the sensor, while keeping his hands close by, ready to grab the wheel in case of an emergency.
Yeah,
How I
yeah.
actually do it is so that it is really actually hands-free, is I keep my knees up, because the tack works pretty good, but I can still get my foot down to a brake, and just keep it like this, because you can react so quickly.
It was clear that Joshua
it's-
truly believed
I
that
mean,
this
to
car
me
that was
it's
driving
fair.
him was safe, and this belief was only strengthened on April 5th of 2016.
New update or what?
That day, Joshua had been driving his car on the interstate when a large truck suddenly merged into his lane, with its driver not even seeing his car. And before Joshua could even react, the autopilot kicked in and veered out of the way, avoiding what would have been a certain collision. Amazed by the event,
Can we
Joshua
s-
would upload dashcam
Can we
footage of
see
the
it?
close call to his YouTube channel, where he praised the
Wow.
vehicle's response. Tessie did great. Excellent job, Elon.
Wow.
This video would immediately
That-
go viral,
that's-
exploding to over 4
hey,
million views between the two versions
that
Joshua
was
had posted.
impressive
But while the
indeed.
response to this video was overwhelming, especially for a channel that was accustomed to getting just a few hundred views, there was one response in particular that impacted Joshua the most. As Tesla's owner, Elon Musk, would repost the video on Twitter.
Oh.
Stunned by the tweet, Joshua would later state, "For
That's
something to catch
nice.
Elon Musk's eye, I can die and go to heaven now." He had no way of knowing then,
maybe
but
don't
this would
go
not
that
be the last
far.
time that Elon Musk would tweet about him, though his next feature would be under much different circumstances.
Ay. Our condolences.
It happened just 1 month after Joshua Brown's video had gone viral. He was driving on Highway 27 on a clear sunny day at approximately 4 p.m. With open road ahead, Joshua turned on his trusted autopilot.
I'm surprised that Elon
mode
tweeted
for over
about
half
this.
an hour,
About
at
this
this point,
death.
his trust in the car was higher
He
than
obviously
ever,
died,
causing
the guy.
Joshua to seemingly lose focus on the road as he was quickly coming up on an intersection where a massive 18-wheeler had been turning left, blocking Joshua's entire lane. Joshua was seemingly so unfocused that he didn't even notice it. Even stranger, the car itself didn't detect this either, despite the entire trailer being horizontal in their lane. This was due to its pure white body, as the sun was shining so brightly against it that, for whatever reason, it became invisible to the self-driving AI. And with neither Joshua nor the car registering the danger that they were in, the vehicle would strike the trailer, going 74 miles per hour. There were no attempts by Joshua to even move the steering wheel, and the brakes hadn't so much as been tapped.
No
the collision
attempts.
happened at full speed, and it happened so fast that the
He
car
was
drove
not
straight through
focused at
underneath,
all.
shearing the entire top of the vehicle off, and continuing driving full speed down the road, before it would eventually crash to a halt. When the driver of the truck rushed over to see the damage, Joshua Brown was already dead, and the truck driver
Did he
could hear
lose
nothing
his
but the
head?
sound of Harry Potter.
You can own it on DVD and video. The adventure is bigger. The magic is stronger. Harry Potter.
Discovered in Joshua Brown's car was a DVD player, which many believe Joshua had used to watch Harry Potter while on that drive, thus explaining why he never reacted to the impending collision.
I'm sorry,
this is something that has been
guys.
disputed by his family.
Hey,
and
sorry,
ultimately,
but
it doesn't
I mean,
seem to have been
I
fully proven or
don't
disproven.
watch
But in the end,
movies
the fault of the accident
or
was placed mainly on the
series.
driver of the
Right?
truck, who had made
Why
that
is
left
it not
turn,
stopping?
and
Stop. Already pause. I don't know, guys, but you know, dying for Harry Potter, that's a pretty miserable death. You know, I mean, um, I wouldn't die for any movie or series, but at least pick a recent one, right? I mean, Harry Potter is already so old, right? I mean, dying for that doesn't feel
Joshua Brown,
doesn't
who
feel
had failed to pay
great.
attention to the road, as it was revealed that during his 37-minute drive, he only had his hands on the wheel for just 25 total seconds. Joshua Brown always wanted to be part of the innovation of Tesla's autopilot, and in doing so, he wrote himself into the history books as being the first person to ever perish in a self-driving accident. And while this is no doubt a tragedy, his death has led to numerous safety improvements and a better understanding of
The popular video was the last one he uploaded, right here. Do you guys see that? This is the, or this? I don't know, this is stabilized. I see stabilized, and this is the original. Yes, so his last video was the most popular one, and then he died. Wow.
He wrote himself
That's
into the
pretty
history
bad.
books as being the first person to ever perish in a self-driving accident. And while this is no doubt a
first
tragedy,
person.
his death has led to numerous safety improvements and a better understanding of the self-driving technology.
That's bad,
that
but
given his
he
life
was
to
the
study.
first, you know. That's something.
I just wanted to hop on here at the end and give a quick shout out to my friend's new podcast called Redacted:
George
Declassified
Lopez.
Mysteries with Luke LaManna. A lot of you probably
Jose,
already know who Luke is,
John
but he's the one behind the
Rice,
Wartime Stories channel.
John
He's a good friend of
Elves.
mine, so honestly I might be a little biased here, but I've been loving the podcast.
Wartime stories? Yeah, it might be good. Anyways, a lot of people subscribe to your Patreon or whatever this is on the right side. Yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching my reaction. I feel like I spoke a lot this video, so I will not drag it anymore. YouTube's Darkest Channel 7 by Nick Crowley. The original is in the description. And I hope I'll see you in another reaction video. Subscribe. Bye bye.